there's a moment that changed everything for me. I was rushing through a busy subway station, earbuds in, completely absorbed in my own world of deadlines and stress. The weight of the day was crushing down on my shoulders like a heavy coat I couldn't take off. Sound familiar? We've all been there, haven't we? Lost in our own chaos, blind to everything around us. But then I saw her. An elderly woman had dropped her grocery bag, and oranges were rolling everywhere across the dirty floor. People stepped over them, around them, pretending not to see. I almost did the same thing. Almost, but something made me stop. Maybe it was the look of defeat on her face, or maybe it was the voice in my head that sounded like my grandmother, reminding me who I wanted to be. I pulled out my earbuds, got down on my knees, and started collecting those oranges, one by one. And you know what happened? The woman's eyes filled with tears. Not from sadness, but from surprise. She told me she'd been invisible all day. That simple act of bending down to help her pick up fruit made her feel seen again, human again. That moment taught me something profound. In a world that seems to be spinning faster and faster into chaos, kindness isn't just nice to have, it's essential. It's revolutionary. It's the antidote to the poison that's seeping into our daily lives. Look around you. Really look. We're living in times that would make our ancestors weep. The news feeds us a constant diet of division, hatred, and fear. Social media has turned into a battlefield where empathy goes to die. We're more connected than ever, yet lonelier than we've ever been. We scroll through curated lives, comparing our behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel, and wonder why we feel so empty inside. Just last week, I read a study that stopped me in my tracks. It found that acts of aggression and hostility have increased by 300% in public spaces over the past 5 years. 300%. Think about that. We're becoming strangers to our own humanity. But here's what the researchers also discovered. And this is where hope enters the story. Communities that actively promoted kindness saw a 40% decrease in mental health issues and a 60% increase in overall life satisfaction. This isn't just feel-good fluff. This is science. This is proof that kindness isn't weakness. It's strength. It's medicine. It's magic. But can kindness really be the solution to the world's problems? Can something so simple, so seemingly small, actually make a dent in the mountain of chaos we're facing? I believe it can, not because I'm naive, but because I've seen it work, because I've lived it, because I've witnessed the ripple effects of a single kind act travel further than any tweet, any post, any viral video ever could. Let me tell you what happens in your brain when you choose kindness. When you perform an act of kindness, your brain releases a cocktail of feel-good chemicals, dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphins flood your system. It's literally like taking a happiness pill, except this pill is free, has no side effects, and makes everyone around you feel better too. Dr. David Hamilton, a former pharmaceutical scientist, spent years researching this phenomenon. He discovered that kindness triggers the same neural pathways as falling in love. When you're kind, your brain thinks you're in love with life itself. Your stress hormones decrease, your immune system strengthens, and your heart literally grows stronger. Not metaphorically, literally. Acts of kindness have been shown to increase heart rate variability, which is a key indicator of cardiac health. But here's where it gets really interesting. Kindness is contagious, not in the way a cold spreads, but in the way laughter spreads, in the way hope spreads. Scientists call it elevation. When people witness acts of kindness, It inspires them to be kinder themselves. One study tracked acts of kindness in a workplace and found that a single kind gesture created a chain reaction that influenced over 100 people within a week. Think about that elderly woman with the oranges. She went home that day and called her daughter, whom she hadn't spoken to in months. They reconciled. Her daughter felt so moved by the story that she volunteered at a local shelter the next weekend. One person at that shelter, inspired by her dedication, it decided to go back to school to become a social worker. That social worker has now helped hundreds of families find stability and hope, all because someone stopped to pick up oranges. This is the mathematics of kindness. It doesn't add up linearly, it multiplies exponentially. It compounds like interest in a savings account, except instead of money, you're accumulating human connection, healing, and hope. I want to share with you the story of Marcus, a 16-year-old who felt invisible in his own life. He was bullied at school, ignored at home, and spent most of his time convincing himself that the world would be better off without him. He had a plan, a dark plan, but on the day he was going to execute it, something unexpected happened. A classmate named Sarah noticed that Marcus had been eating lunch alone for weeks. She didn't know about his plan, didn't know about his pain. She just saw someone who looked lonely. So she sat with him, didn't say much, just sat there, sharing her cookies and asking about his favorite music. 20 minutes. That's all it was. 20 minutes of human connection. Marcus is 23 now. He's a teacher. He spends his days looking for the lonely kids, the overlooked ones, the ones who feel invisible. He calls it the Orange Project. Inspired by a story he heard about someone who stopped to help an elderly woman pick up fruit last year. He prevented 3 students from making the same dark choice. He almost made. Sarah's 20 minutes of kindness didn't just save 1 life. It saved 4 lives. And counting. This is what I mean when I say small acts create big impacts. We live in a culture that worships grand gestures and dramatic transformations. We think change has to be loud, visible, trending, but the truth is, the most powerful changes happen quietly. They happen in grocery store aisles and subway stations and school cafeterias. They happen when we choose to see each other as human beings worthy of love and respect. Even when it's inconvenient, especially when it's inconvenient, you don't need to donate millions to charity. You don't need to start a foundation or give a TED talk. You just need to pay attention to the cashier who looks exhausted, to the neighbor who hasn't been outside in days, to the coworker who seems overwhelmed, to the stranger waiting for the bus in the rain. Kindness is a superpower, hiding in plain sight. It's available to everyone, regardless of age, income, education, or social status. It costs nothing but gives everything. It requires no special training but yields extraordinary results. But here's what I've learned about kindness that might surprise you. It's not always easy. In fact, sometimes it's the hardest thing you'll ever do. Kindness requires courage. It requires us to step outside our comfort zones, to risk being vulnerable, to choose love over fear, even when fear seems safer. There will be days when kindness feels impossible. When you're running on empty, when your own heart is breaking, when the world feels too heavy to bear. These are the days when kindness matters most, not because you feel like it, but because you choose it, because you understand that kindness isn't a mood. It's a decision. It's a discipline. It's a way of being that transcends feelings and circumstances. I think about Mahatma Gandhi, who said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." People often quote this without understanding the radical nature of what he was suggesting. He wasn't talking about changing others. He was talking about changing yourself, about becoming so deeply rooted in your values that your very presence shifts the energy in every room you enter. Gandhi understood something that we seem to have forgotten. You can't force kindness on the world, but you can embody it so completely that others can't help but be affected by it. You become a walking invitation for others to remember their own capacity for love. Abraham Lincoln knew this too. During the Civil War, when the country was literally tearing itself apart, he was advised to destroy his enemies. His response, "Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends?" Lincoln understood that kindness isn't weakness. It's strategic. It's transformative. It's the fastest way to change someone's heart. And in our modern world, we need this wisdom more than ever. We need people who are willing to be kind, not because it's trendy, but because it's necessary. Because without kindness, we lose our humanity. Without kindness, we become machines disguised as people, going through the motions of life without ever truly living. So how do we make kindness a habit? How do we rewire ourselves to default to love instead of indifference? It starts with awareness. Pay attention to your thoughts throughout the day. Notice when you're judging someone, and ask yourself what story you might be missing. That person who cut you off in traffic might be rushing to the hospital. That rude customer might have just lost their job. That friend who hasn't called back might be drowning in their own struggles. This doesn't mean excusing bad behavior or becoming a doormat. It means choosing to see the humanity in everyone. Even when they're not showing you their best side, especially when they're not showing you their best side, start small. Smile at the barista. Thank the janitor. Compliment a stranger. Hold the door. Let someone cut in line. Listen without trying to fix. These micro moments of kindness might seem insignificant, but they're not. They're training your heart to stay open in a world that's constantly trying to close it. Set an intention each morning. Before you check your phone, before you dive into your to-do list, ask yourself, how can I be kind today? Not in a forced way, but in a genuine way. Let that question guide your interactions throughout the day. Practice the art of presence. In our hyper-connected, constantly distracted world, one of the greatest gifts you can give someone is your full attention. Put down your phone, make eye contact. Listen not just to respond, but to understand. Be fully where you are, with whoever you're with, and when you mess up, because you will practice self-kindness, forgive yourself. Learn from the mistake. Try again tomorrow. You can't pour from an empty cup, so fill yourself up with the same compassion you're trying to give to others. Remember, kindness multiplies, but so does cruelty. Every day, you're casting votes for the kind of world you want to live in. With every interaction, every choice, every response, you're either adding to the chaos or helping to heal it. The question isn't whether your kindness matters. The question is, what kind of world are you voting for? I want to tell you about Maria, a single mother working 3 jobs to support her family. She was tired, overwhelmed, barely keeping her head above water. One day, she was grocery shopping with her young son, counting every penny. When she realized she was 50 cents short for milk, she was embarrassed, about to put it back. When the person behind her in line quietly handed the cashier $1, that small act of kindness didn't just buy milk, it restored Maria's faith in humanity. It reminded her that she wasn't alone in her struggles. It gave her the strength to keep going. But here's the beautiful part of the story. Maria decided to pay it forward. She started leaving quarters in the laundromat for people who might need them. She began volunteering at a food bank on the weekends. She taught her son that kindness is the most important thing you can give to the world. Years later, Maria's son grew up to become a doctor. He provides free medical care to undocumented immigrants. He credits his mother's example of kindness as the reason he chose medicine over the more lucrative career in finance. His grades could have afforded. How many lives has that 50 cents worth of kindness touched? How many more will it touch? This is the secret that the world doesn't want you to know. You have more power than you realize. Every day, you have the opportunity to be someone's angel, to be the person who restores their faith in humanity, to be the reason someone doesn't give up. But kindness isn't just about helping others. It's about saving yourself. In a world that profits from your insecurities, that makes money from your dissatisfaction, that thrives on your disconnection, choosing kindness is an act of rebellion. It's refusing to let the world make you bitter. It's insisting on your right to love and be loved. Even when love seems naive, when you choose kindness, you're choosing to live from your highest self instead of your wounded self. You're choosing growth over stagnation, connection over isolation, hope over despair. You're choosing to believe that people are fundamentally good, even when the evidence sometimes suggests otherwise. And here's what I've discovered about people who make kindness their default setting. They sleep better at night. They have deeper relationships. They experience more joy and less anxiety. They age more gracefully and die with fewer regrets. They create ripples of positive change that outlive them by generations. This isn't wishful thinking. This is documented science. Studies show that people who volunteer regularly live longer, happier lives. People who practice gratitude have stronger immune systems. People who help others experience what researchers call helper's high, a boost in mood and energy that lasts for hours. Your brain is literally designed for kindness. Evolution didn't make us the dominant species because we were the strongest or the fastest. It made us dominant because we learned to cooperate, to care for each other, to build communities based on mutual support and shared compassion. But somewhere along the way, we forgot this truth. We started believing that life is a zero-sum game, that someone else's success means our failure, that we have to hoard our love and kindness like precious resources that might run out. The opposite is true. Kindness is renewable. The more you give, the more you have. It's like a muscle that gets stronger with use, a skill that improves with practice, a light that grows brighter when shared. I challenge you to become a kindness revolutionary, to be subversively compassionate in a world that expects cruelty, to be radically loving in a society that profits from hate, to be courageously optimistic in times that seem to call for despair. Start a kindness ripple effect in your community. Leave encouraging notes in library books. Pay for the coffee of the person behind you. Write thank you cards to teachers, nurses, and other everyday heroes. Volunteer at local shelters or food banks. Mentor someone younger than you. Call elderly neighbors just to check in. Create a kindness challenge with your friends. See who can perform the most anonymous acts of kindness in a week. Document not the acts themselves, but how they made you feel. Share your experiences and inspire others to join the movement. Teach the children in your life that kindness is cool, that being different is beautiful, that helping others is heroic. Show them through your actions that the world needs more helpers, more healers, more hope spreaders. Use your platform, no matter how small, to amplify kindness. Share stories of human goodness. Celebrate people who choose compassion over competition. Create content that builds up instead of tears down. Be the voice that reminds others of their own inherent worth and dignity. And when you encounter cruelty, because you will respond with compassion, not because the cruel person deserves it, but because you deserve to remain kind. Because maintaining your humanity in the face of inhumanity is the ultimate victory. Because someone who hurts others is usually someone who has been deeply hurt themselves. This doesn't mean being naive or enabling bad behavior. It means recognizing that hurt people, and healed people heal people. It means understanding that you have the power to break cycles of pain by refusing to perpetuate them. Remember, every great movement in history started with individuals who decided to be kind when kindness wasn't popular. The Underground Railroad was built by people who chose compassion over compliance. The Civil Rights Movement was powered by people who met hatred with love. The fall of apartheid was accelerated by people who chose reconciliation over revenge. Diese weren't superhuman beings. They were ordinary people who made extraordinary choices. They were people like you and me who decided that kindness wasn't optional, that love wasn't luxury, that compassion wasn't weakness. You are part of this legacy. Every act of kindness you perform connects you to every person throughout history who chose love over fear, hope over despair, connection over division. You are continuing a story that began with the first human who helped another human without expecting anything in return. And this story is far from over. In fact, it's just beginning. Because we live in unprecedented times of connection and possibility, we have tools and technologies that allow kindness to travel faster and farther than ever before. We have platforms that can turn a single act of compassion into a global movement. But technology is just the vehicle. You are the driver. Your choices determine the destination. Your kindness determines whether we're heading toward a world of greater connection or deeper division. The world doesn't need another app or algorithm. It needs more people who understand that kindness is the ultimate technology, that love is the ultimate software, that compassion is the ultimate upgrade. So I'll leave you with this challenge, this invitation, this opportunity to change everything. Starting right now, today, choose kindness, not when you feel like it, not when it's convenient, not when others deserve it. Choose kindness because it's who you are, because it's who you want to be, because it's the gift you want to give to the world. Wake up tomorrow and ask yourself, how can I be kind today? Not just once, but throughout the day. Let that question guide your words, your actions, your thoughts. Let it transform your relationships, your community, your world. And when you go to bed tomorrow night, reflect on the kindness you shared. Notice how it felt. Notice how it changed you. Notice how it changed others. Carry that feeling with you into the next day. And the next, because here's what I know for certain. A world where everyone chooses kindness is not a fantasy. It's a possibility. It's a choice. It's a revolution waiting to happen. And it starts with you, right here, right now, with the very next person you encounter, with the very next choice you make, with the very next moment you have the opportunity to be kind. The world is waiting for your kindness. Your family needs your kindness. Your community is hungry for your kindness. And your future self will thank you for choosing kindness today. So go, begin, be revolutionary. Be the change this world desperately needs. Because if not you, then who? If not now, then when? If not kindness, then what? The power to change the world is in your hands. It's in your heart. It's in your choice to be kind, even when the world seems unkind. Especially when the world seems unkind, choose kindness. The world is counting on it. The world is counting on you. And if this message resonated with you, if it sparked something inside you, if it reminded you of who you want to be in this world, then share it. Pass it on. Let it ripple outward. Subscribe to stay connected to this community of kindness revolutionaries. Because together, we're not just changing lives, We're changing the world, one act of kindness at a time.